9 million Americans were wrongly told they were approved for student debt forgiveness. My letter specifically said that the application was approved but no payment can go through until the court case allows. Approval and execution are separate. My letter says I'm approved but my debt won't be cleared up until the case is settled in court. I thought this was going to be about the recent appeals Supreme Court decisions. It's instead about emails that were sent incorrectly at the start of all this. My girlfriend who has no college debt received the email. She was pretty confused. Big banks can get bailed out with zero issue. Politicians who own companies get bailed out with PPP loans. Zero issue. Don't want to cripple normal citizens because they were sold a false bill of sale that a college education more than pays for itself in the first X years, but nah. Fuck all of us. No bailout. Why bail out people who need the money when there's rich people who don't that you can give it to instead? Article title is misleading. And I can't wait for the Supreme Court to tell me why people can now sue to stop the government from doing something, but if we tried, that's not how it works. Woman face palming. Why would people need to apply? If they qualify, just give it to them. They already know who qualifies. This is so stupid. Corporations are cunts. And they own the USA. I bet the people in the Berenstein universe aren't having to deal with this right now. I mean, it's just reading comprehension. Says the loan forgiveness application was approved, and in the body of the email it says it's pending litigation. So, pretty much what I expected. Ineffective idea proposed by the administration, then co-blocked by Republicans. Y'all, I'm not holding my breath for that money, I'm just here trying to vote out Boebert. The sooner we all accept the fact that we are all in a different class than the rule makers, the sooner we can get on with the revolution. Don't worry though, it's going to the 6-3 stacked Supreme Court where surely they'll rule in the favor of struggling Americans and not their political agendas, right? I'll direct you to the legal precedent of no takebacks, Mr. President. How about all those PPP loans that were approved? I got a message that said it was in progress, but was stalled due to pending litigation. We would all go protest, but then we wouldn't be at work and we wouldn't be able to pay our loans, and then we default and our lives are even worse. It's almost like student loans are a predatory system there to trap 18-year-olds in debt. Real question: what is the status of loan forgiveness these days? Can we get them forgiven, or is it held up in the courts and there's nothing to do? No, they sent emails saying you're approved but it's held up in court. Then Biden extended the pause, I believe. Nobody was lied to, maybe some just can't read? Career politicians are against student loan forgiveness but are somehow okay with billionaires' corporations getting tax breaks over and over again. We can't even agree as a country to give paid sick leave to railroad workers. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. No more words. Oh, and before anyone comes at me about student loans, I paid mine off already. As an American, could we make a class action lawsuit? I got this too. When can we all pull our heads out of our ass and organize and revolt against the wealth class that has been standing on our necks? It will only continue to get worse until we forcefully change things with strikes and civil disobedience. Is there anything that could stop him from keeping the student loan repayment pause going forever? No, Congress could pass something, but that seems like a death sentence for politicians, and Republicans can only block. This country is only about aristocratic wealth. Honestly, I'd just be happy to see a moderate interest rate on my student loans. When I started taking out loans it was 3. By the time I graduated my loan rate was 7. If they were to reduce all of my loans to 3, I'd save so much more than $10,000 over the payoff period of my loan. At my interest rates, my loans will most likely never be paid off and I will end up just getting forgiveness after 20 years of paying on my loans anyway. For those about to say it, I continue taking out loans because why would I drop out of school halfway through when they kept raising rates? They're only allowed to bail out companies, to make sure CEO get their golden parachute. Pisses me off what a clusterfuck this has turned into when there are billions in fraudulent PPP loans that were handed out like candy. Where are the lawsuits and Supreme Court cases about that wasted taxpayer money? Vote first and we'll just figure out this pesky loan thing later. Conservatives thinking this is good politically are the most stupid fucking people possibly to exist ever. We should sue the government to force them to go through with the plan. Cringier than Scott's dots. Please. I want forgiveness. Do you think they will reopen the application if the court case goes through? Shoo, that's a big April's fool. Is clickbait? The subject line was wrong, but anyone who read the email saw that it's approved, but they have to win in court. What a fucking shit show. 9 million Americans with a good reason not to vote Republican. You are approved for student debt forgiveness, except Republican bitches think you need to stay poor. I paid off my student loan this year. I'm pissed off at this. Everybody should have an affordable education, and despite the fact that I wasn't given that, I know giving the younglings a break will lead to a better society and future for all of us. We need to wake up and invest in our knowledge economy so that we can compete. Midterms are over. What did you expect, lol? It said it was approved, but that my state is one of the Republican lawsuit ones, so whether it will actually go through will depend on the outcome of that. Biden and his administration have been properly keeping those of us that made applications informed on the status of them. Because we are the corporate states of America, where profit is more important than people. I would really like to give the judge who stated a piece of my mind. I'm sure 9 meters others would, too. I already emailed them no take-back size, and that's legally binding. That's a seriously misleading header. If anyone is following the SC case, it would seem that if this passes, then it would set precedent to sue the government for not getting money for things I'm not qualified for. I say let's all sue them for not getting PPP loans. I feel like all 9 million of us should file our own lawsuit. CBS is part of the issue if they release an article like that. Ban CBS. 9 million Americans were financially abused by bankers before they were old enough to vote. That sounds like the Fed's problem, not the fucking citizens. The fucking greed of these people, man. They can't let Americans have one good thing. Almost like it was a ploy to get people to vote Democrat before the midterm elections. No kidding. I applied, even though Navient is playing fast and loose with their rules, so according to them, I don't even qualify. Still got the email saying I was approved. So basically it's still a fuck you. I received the approved version. Your student loan debt relief application has been approved, but in the body the first thing it says is, from Secretary Cardona, lawsuits are preventing the U.S. Department of Education from implementing its one-time student loan debt relief program. And the rest goes on. They explain again that they can't discharge my debt due to lawsuits. Not that confusing, and was aware of the lawsuits already. I could see how it might be disappointing for someone who didn't know about it and saw that subject line, thinking that they were gonna get 10-20,000 discharged. So the error was just the subject line, yay? Add my name to the list. Wow, shocking, the government. I got my email on November 19th, so I was definitely not one of those people. I'm not hopeful that this will happen, but it would be nice if my loans are $18,000 less than when I graduated. Yes, you will be paid. When, however, is another matter entirely. The greatest country on earth made a poo-poo which is statistically equivalent to nothing in the grand schemes of things. Crazy idea. Pay for government infrastructure to enable this sort of thing. What's the point of writing it off if the system stays the same? Guys, they just pledged it. This carrot will be dangled until the next presidential election and just past the election date. Then, either not given or only a small amount of people or monetary value will be approved. Much like the 2K stimmy checks. Conveniently, lies came out after election is over. Yes, they were scammed. That happens a lot in this country. The emails were supposedly sent out on November 22nd and 23rd. That's the part that surprised me most. I figured that the entire point of the program was to generate blue excitement for the election and, honestly, pretty high IQ strategy. I respect it, and that after the election it would quietly get struck down and we wouldn't hear much about it again, but it looks like Biden crew are actually doubling down to help actual human beings. The only free cheese is in a mousetrap. Almost as if it was a ploy to get some votes. But the Dems votes. FFSY, isn't the story the assholes trying to block it? Seriously, this shit is infuriating. The email was accurate, but sure, let's get mad at that instead of the real villains, shitty already wealthy capitalistas that got their loans forgiven and in turn going to block normal people from any relief at all. Republicans shitting all over everything. What's new? When do the people who paid theirs off get a refund? 9 million Americans were blocked from relief because one party only gives out money to rich people and job creators that instantly lay off people whenever there is a tiny downturn. FTFY. Breaking news: Republicans went out of their way to specifically fuck over poor people. It's not every day you can share a headline like that closer to every other day. Wow, Biden lied to you and said he was going to do something he had no right to promise. You were manipulated for your vote. When you want to wake up, we will all be here for you.